I'm Jackie.
And together, we are
Functionally
literate. And today, we are talking about The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, specifically chapters 7 through 9.
Yo!
So, let's see, briefly, where we left off, Dorian fell in love with an actress, and he convinced his friends to go to the theater to see Sybil perform.
Do his friends have high standards, do you think, Ryan?
I think they do.
They do.
I think they're very posh boys.
They're dandies. Absolutely.
They
100%.
are.
And Basil was, weary and wary.
Yeah.
At the end of the chapter.
So let's see how chapter 7 goes.
Let's.
So Dorian took Basil and Lord Henry to see Sybil act in Romeo and Juliet. A classic.
Classic.
A classic then, a classic now.
You got to.
A scene is painted to convey that nothing about this theater is appealing from the audience to the...
It is crowded. It's hot.
The
There's
set's not
people,
good.
which...
The people suck.
The people suck. It says that there's hot in there. There's people taking off their waistcoats and sharing oranges with tawdry girls. And the last time I shared an orange with a tawdry girl. Look.
Well, what was it? What was that like?
I don't believe I'm at liberty to say.
I mean, it sounds like it was fun.
I took my waistcoat off.
Did you show your elbows?
It got quite hot.
The orchestra's also no good. He's like, oh, and here's the orchestra playing. They're dreadful, but don't worry. In like 5 minutes, they'll stop and the play will start.
Yeah, Dorian says, when she acts, you'll forget everything, and that her art tends to spiritualize the common folk.
I would also like to speak to the blatant anti-Semitism right out the gate of this chapter.
Immediate.
So the theater owner is described as the fat Jew manager and having an oily, tremulous smile and fat, jeweled hands. That's what I wrote down about the guy.
Pompous humility, this man. Oxymoron? Not with this guy.
And so I was reading that, and I just, like, offhandedly said to my wife, man, there's quite a bit of anti-Semitism right at the start of this chapter. And my wife says, anti-Semitism was in vogue back then, Ryan.
You were nobody if you weren't in on that gag. Old Testament? No,
Man.
thank you.
So the play starts, and it's clear that something is wrong when Sybil first appears. You want to get into that?
Well, the thing is everybody is crazy vibe about Sybil stepping onto the stage.
Yeah.
The crowd goes crazy. Everyone loses their entire shit.
It seems that everyone goes to this theater to see Sybil specifically.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then she starts to speak. I have written in all caps with a little star and some ellipses.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's listless.
Yeah.
And she's soulless. And there's no art at all. She's like oblivious.
And it's not like she's nervous either. Like, it says that she was very well composed. Like, she wasn't like, shaking like a leaf or anything.
No. At peace she is.
There was just no passion.
No sign of joy when her eyes rested on Romeo, she says.
And so, the first act is over, and right away, Dorian's nervous.
Everyone's pissed except for Sybil.
Yeah.
She's happy as a clam up there. Dorian's beside himself.
Yeah.
So mad.
But maybe the second act will be better. The thing that is most important is Juliet on the balcony. Maybe she'll get that right, and it'll all be fine. Nah.
No.
No.
Not even close.
And then
spoken in a thoroughly artificial manner.
She just doesn't seem to care about what she's saying at all. And so when the scene concludes, Henry's like, look, she's pretty, but she can't act. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Come on, let's go.
Bored.
I'm bored. Let's go. And Dorian is just like, no, can't you see my heart is breaking? Let me alone. Go away. And I think Basil is trying to, like, be the comforting friend. Like, I mean, it's okay. Like, acting isn't everything. I'm sure you still love her, and I'm sure she'll be a great wife. Or something along those lines.
Yeah, I love Basil because of that. Like his first immediate, he's like, she might be ill. We'll just come another time.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fair.
Benefit of the doubt.
That's what I would have probably said.
But Dorian says, I wish she was ill.
Yeah.
She better be ill. This broad.
Her bad acting is like breaking his heart.
What an affront.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Dorian sends his friends away. Like, I have to be alone with this. This is the worst.
And he stays. And the rest of the show goes terribly. Like, the audience starts to get rowdy, and then it starts to clear out. Like, by the end, there's hardly anyone in the audience.
The curtain went down on a titter and some groans.
Yeah, I buy that. So after the show, Dorian immediately goes to Sybil. And she is proud.
She's so happy.
With how badly she acted.
She's clueless. And beautiful.
Yeah.
And just on another plane, it seems.
And I find this interaction between them interesting. Because her whole explanation, she's aware that she performed badly. And she's proud of it. And she says to Dorian that it's because now she knows what true love is. So now that she knows what real love is, all of this that she's been doing on stage just feels so fake.
Feels hollow.
It feels not real anymore. So she doesn't care about it.
She says her reality had been the theater.
Yeah.
Before she knew him, and now she sees through the hollowness, the sham, the silliness of the empty pageant in which she had always played.
The problem being, Dorian fell in love with her because of her acting.
He fell in love with the artist, not the woman.
Yeah.
So Dorian tells her, "You've killed my love."
Yeah. He calls her a third-rate actress with a pretty face.
If I could had a nickel for every time, am I right? He says, "I loved you because you realized the dreams of great poets and gave shape and substance to the shadows of art."
Yeah. He calls her shallow and stupid, says that she means nothing to him now, and will never think of her again. And she, oh my god, he was so savage. She was like, "Surely you can't be serious, you're acting." And he's like, "No, I leave the acting to you. You're wonderful at that." It's like, oh my god.
Oh, petty bitch stuff right there. Well, so he says it how little you know of love if you say it mars your art. She's saying she fell in love with Dorian, and now she knows acting's
stupid.
She's not into it anymore.
Nah.
Because she's into the love that she has for Dorian.
She's into real life. Yeah.
But Dorian says, excuse me, without your art, you are nothing. Which my notes say here. It sounds like a way meaner version of what Henry said to Dorian in the garden in chapter 2.
Remind me.
Without your youth, without your looks, you're nothing.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even make that connection. But you're right. Yeah. Like, he really is taking what Henry said to heart.
And Dorian didn't take that news and, get super upset. It seems like he took that information from Henry as like, yeah, this guy's right.
Well, he kind of got upset,
because he was opening his eyes for the first time.
Well, what I mean is, when Henry first told him that, he immediately was like, "Ah, damn that painting! If only it grew old instead of me."
Yeah.
So, I mean, he kind of took it a little severely.
I guess. My thinking is that expecting somebody to only be valuable for what
they do,
they seem like.
Yeah.
I just feel like Henry is so shallow and
Dorian consequently is shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's tragic. She throws herself at his feet and she's like, no, I'll try to be a better actor again. I swear. I take me back. I'm sorry. And he's just like, he's not having any of it. There is always something ridiculous about the passions of people whom one has ceased to love. She just seems melodramatic to him now.
Yeah.
My God, it was...
This is the one moment in her life where she knows actual passion.
Yeah.
And actual love.
He doesn't care about it.
And he doesn't care. He wanted her acting.
Just her acting.
Which was superficial.
And he wanted to, like, prop her up and get her into, like, a better theater and all that.
Magnify her art.
Yeah. But he only cared about the art.
He only cared about her fitting some, excuse the expression, but fitting some role.
Yeah.
That he had already just kind of prescribed in his head as what she needed to fill.
Right. So he leaves. And he wanders around the city all night without a care of where he's going. And there's a lot of, like, descriptions there of the city and what he sees, but I kind of glossed over it unless there's anything notable to you.
Well, he's out in the night and everything, while it's dark, looks and sounds evil and wicked.
Yeah.
As he walks. Rife with symbolism, of course, but Oscar Wilde takes it a step further. Day breaks and things start looking more friendly.
Yeah.
To him.
And he takes a cab home.
Makes his way to his bedroom, but on his way, or I suppose is it in his bedroom?
I think it's in his bedroom.
Well, on his way to his bed, through his bedroom.
Yeah.
His painting catches his eye.
Yeah, it's different.
The expression looks different.
The expression looks cruel.
One would have said that there was a touch of cruelty in the mouth.
Yeah. And he can't stop looking at it.
He can't really... First of all, I don't think he can actually tell if something's going on with the painting itself or if he's still drunk from the night before. Am I seeing things?
Yeah, he's genuinely wondering if this is just his imagination, if this is like his guilty conscience. And so because he begins to believe it's his guilty conscience, he recalls what he said to Basil and Henry the day Basil made the painting, and he thinks that the change was a result of his own sin.
He remembers the mad wish he had made about trading his soul for youth.
Yeah.
And then, only then, does he wonder if he was cruel.
Yeah.
Say the painting is changing, or whatever. Was I actually cruel?
Yeah.
So he wonders if he was cruel.
Yeah.
And then he says, immediately, it was the girl's fault, not his.
I know! Oh my God!
And I'm sorry to be a fortune teller right now, but this is not the first time this guy passes the buck. It won't be the last. But it says she had marred him for a moment if he had wounded her for an age. And what I think that means is, yeah, right, I didn't hurt her at all. She hurt me worse.
She hurt me way worse. I'm never going to forget this.
He thinks he shouldn't be worried about her. But then he thinks of the picture.
Yeah.
Is it watching him? What's happening here with the portrait? He's starting to kind of worry more and more. And he pities his portrait.
Yeah.
And he says, if this is what's happening, if what I think is happening, it better not be. He says, for every sin that he committed, a stain would fleck and wreck its fairness, the painting's fairness.
So he decides, well, I better not sin anymore then.
He decides that the picture is reflecting to him his conscience. And he decides he won't sin or see Henry anymore.
Or Basil.
Or at least listen to Henry's bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't remember him saying that he won't see Basil.
Well, that's what I wrote down. Let me check again.
Okay.
Maybe they changed it, because I was reading the uncensored version, so maybe they changed it.
Ooh, yeah, it could be. What I see here is that he wouldn't see Lord Henry anymore, or listen to those subtle poisonous theories that in Basil Hallward's garden had first stirred within him. The passion for impossible things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I truncated what I had read. You're right. That's the same in both versions.
The thing is about Basil, it hurts to say it. I really don't think that Dorian gives a fuck about Basil.
Not really, no.
No.
No. I mean, certainly not after he met Harry.
No. And even then, it always seemed to me like it was a dang near one-sided friendship
Oh, absolutely.
with Basil.
Absolutely.
Um,
Basil was the guy that would always paint him and say sweet nothings about his beauty and his youth and on and on and on.
mhm.
Like, he was just there because it was like, oh, Basil's so nice.
Yeah.
He makes me feel so good about myself.
He's the friend zone friend
Yeah.
for Dorian.
Yeah.
And then the new hot Henry comes along and says, "Hey girl, get in my car." So Dorian decides he won't sin. I'm gonna be nicer. Okay, you got me. Picture. He decides he's gonna go back to Sybil, and he says, "A faint echo of his love came back to him."
And as I recall, the chapter ends with him kind of like saying her name over and over and over again so he can try and recapture that love. I find it very interesting how the picture showing signs of these changes in him is what causes guilt in him and a desire to repent. Like, if not for the picture, I don't think he would have given this a second thought.
Mm-mm. And I don't think at this point in the story that is Dorian realizing that, you know, his conscience is telling him he should feel guilty about this.
Oh, yeah.
I think without the painting, yeah, he would have moved on.
So my question to you is, do you think that the picture actually is his conscience? Or does it just spark his conscience within himself? Like, has whatever has transpired with this painting, like, removed some essence of his humanity? Or is it just reflecting his humanity?
I think it's honestly a little bit of both.
Okay.
I have a theory that I don't think I really want to disclose quite yet.
That's fair.
Not because of where we are in the book, but because I think I need a little bit more evidence before I bring it before the judge and jury.
Okay.
But I think that a visual reminder for Dorian is going to work wonders for him because he's a very visual person. I've got a note in here, actually, that he talks about, there's a lot of description about the things in his room and how he's decorated his room and everything. And one thing that's mentioned several times is Louis XIV's patterns, Louis XIV's style, stuff like that. Louis XIV's, of course, would be Louis XIV.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know what Louis XIV's is, but for the benefit of our dear listeners.
Yeah, it was not, and me.
It's the style and architecture and like decorative arts that glorified King Louis XIV. And it's defined by like French classicism, so like refined elegance and an appreciation for antiquity. It tends to kind of date around sort of the French Revolution time, so about 1775 to 1790, which is when the Romanticism movement in literature sort of kind of started to pick up a little bit of speed across the channel in England. It seems to me that the French Revolution would have sparked a lot of kind of thoughtfulness about how people perceive themselves and their surroundings. Since Dorian is an Englishman, it's like he's almost drawn to, like a magpie, he's drawn to these beautiful decorative arts, as I said before, in the Louis XIV's pattern.
He's
the Louis
leaning
XIV style.
hard into aestheticism. The aesthetics is what matters.
It is. And of course, as we've gotten to know Oscar Wilde so well, old boy loves his aesthetics.
He really does.
He's an aesthete, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is why this book is so descriptive. To a fault, we'll talk about later.
Next episode.
I know.
Next episode.
It's like Oscar Wilde painstakingly painted the exact picture that he wants his reader to read, of course.
Yeah.
Which is the job of a writer, clearly. But I think he really goes the extra mile in bringing up the Louis XIV's thing. because of the French Revolution, French classicism. He's got Dorian's got a French butler, for crying out loud.
Yeah, what was that guy's name?
Victor.
Victor, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't trust Victor very much, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Next episode. So, chapter 8. Dorian was out all last night, decides he's made amends with Sybil on his own, separately from her. You know what? I will go back with her.
He woke at 1:30 in the afternoon.
There's letters waiting for him. There's like, the typical fare. There's cards, invitations, tickets, spam, essentially. Yeah, junk mail, whatever. So there was, what I thought was really, really telling about Dorian was that in with the letters that were waiting for him was a bill for a lot of money for a chased silver Louis XIV's toilet set, which of course would be like combs, brushes, razors.
Oh, is that what that meant?
Yes.
I thought it was funny, but I didn't put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, so a man or a woman's toilet set or their toilet would be their toiletries.
Okay.
What you would need to make oneself ready in the day.
But he he said he wanted it, but he was hesitant about it for some reason.
He said he was hesitant to sell the scent. Oh, he wasn't hesitant about the toilet set its own self.
Oh, okay.
Boyfriend needed that, of course, obviously. But it said that he didn't want to send the bill along to his guardians, the people that actually pay his bills, because they're old, they don't understand. He says of their guardians that they're old and that unnecessary things are only necessities. And he honestly thinks that his guardians couldn't possibly understand that.
I can understand him feeling that way.
100%.
I remember when I was a kid, I really wanted a bidet. My dad laughed at me. We did not get a bidet.
What fancy elegance you must have wanted. Goodness sakes. The ego on this guy. Can't even pronounce the T at the end of the word.
Are you supposed to say bidet?
No, it's bidet.
Good.
It's just...
Okay, so he gets his mail. He has an omelet. Victor leaves him.
Well, so there's also a letter from Henry in the stack.
Yeah, he sets that aside.
He's like,
I don't want to listen to what Henry has to say.
Later. So he has his breakfast. Somehow he was able to sleep well through the night, but yet he still wakes up in the morning. He wants to check and make sure that the painting is maybe the same from
so
last
he
night.
Covered it the night before.
Yeah.
And so when he's alone, he tells Victor that he's not available to anyone who calls.
Right. I'm not here. Leave me alone.
And then when he's alone, he looks at the painting again.
He locks his door before he even takes the thing off, which to me implies that he already knows that it changed.
I mean, it really goes to show how immediately he became ashamed of this painting.
Ashamed and so paranoid.
Yeah. Like, to the point that he's already suspicious of his valet. Like, throughout this entire chapter and the next chapter is suspicion of Victor.
Can I trust this guy? This guy doesn't know anything. He barely knows English. Settle down, Dorian. So he locks the door to his room, and he finds that the picture, after he uncovers it, actually is different.
Yeah.
How he remembered it. It made him conscious of how unjust and cruel he was to her.
Because he was.
He completely was.
He destroyed her.
1,000% in the wrong he was.
And so he decides that he's going to write Sybil a love letter. He's going to apologize. He's going to...
He writes page after page with wild words of sorrow and wilder words of pain.
Madness took him.
And when he finishes the letter, I love this.
I thought this was interesting, too.
When he finishes the letter, it says he feels like he has been forgiven.
Yeah.
As though it was his the confessional that he needed to make.
Yeah. Like, to the point that because Henry comes, like, demanding entry. And when he's talking to Henry, Henry's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh, I feel great.
I feel wonderful, my guy.
Yeah, I'm fine."
Especially now. And Henry's like, excuse me, my dude?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of breakdown in communication
They
because
kind of go back and forth.
Henry assumes that Dorian has read his letter. He has not.
No, couldn't be bothered.
Oh my
Mate.
god. And then he just
Well, so Dorian says, I still want to marry Sybil, my guy. I'm super stoked on life right now. And then Henry tells him, quote, Sybil Vane is dead.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was genuinely my mouth dropped. I was like, and my wife was doing her own thing. She was cross stitching on the other side of the room.
Cool. Good
And
kid.
she was like, what? And I was like, the actress killed herself.
Oh, we've never heard that sentence ever in the world.
I know. I don't know why. I was just so, like, taken in by this story. I didn't, like, this woman was so full of life. I was not expecting
So
it.
full of love, finally.
Yeah. I was genuinely expecting her to, like, I don't know, like, be miserable, but try and find him, try and take him back. I was not expecting her to just immediately, because so the way Henry describes it, she was leaving the theater with her mother, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like, oh, I forgot something in my dressing room. She goes up to her dressing room. She never comes back down. They find her, and she had swallowed something, and she was dead.
Correct. Damn near immediately.
Henry thinks that it was prussic acid.
Yeah. Which he says is something that they use in theater. I will admit I don't know what prussic acid is.
It is, I don't either, but I can tell you that my wife was in Lizzie, and it was something that they, like, talked about using as a murder tool, and it was, like, in one of the songs. So she just started singing about prussic acid.
We should have brought Kit in just today to talk about prussic acid.
Yeah, we should have.
We'll check in with her sometime.
Hang on.
Don't worry.
Hey, I'll text her. Okay, so I texted my wife, hey, for the podcast, did you say a word or two about prussic acid and its ability to murder? And she said, yeah, and she's typing right now as we speak.
Action.
Okay, so we're just going to continue until we get a text back.
Fantastic. So, yeah, Henry says that she must have swallowed something, possibly prussic acid. She died dang near immediately. And then, your boy cannot help himself. He can't. Dorian just about immediately starts talking about how selfish she was.
I know!
She had no right to kill herself, he says.
She had no right to kill herself.
Now,
what the fuck?
Before we go too far away from that, I want to talk about something that my husband and I were actually talking about as I was reading this.
Oh, okay.
And we had a bit of a tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
So we had watched through Mad Men.
I remember Mad Men.
Mad Men's everything.
It's a
Thank
cool
you very
show,
much.
yeah.
Peggy Olson forever.
I'm into that show.
So we were watching through Mad Men, and it's kind of present in our lives because it rocks so hard. And I read she had no right to kill herself line. And listener, if you don't know anything about Mad Men, I'm so sorry to go above your head here.
Spoilers abound.
Spoilers a little. I mean, it's kind of obvious from the first second he steps into the scenes, honest to God. But Dorian gives Pete so hard.
Pete Campbell?
Pete Campbell.
Oh, shit.
This little shit that's like, how dare she kill herself? I didn't have an opportunity to send her my love letter. I was ready to absolve myself. I have absolved myself.
I see it,
but
though.
She didn't let me.
No, I see it, though, because I described Dorian in my notes somewhere as a little shit, and
Pete's a little shit, man.
And, yeah, real Pete Campbell energy.
Big time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hey, got a text back from Kit.
Yes, Kit.
She says, it's also known as hydrogen cyanide, and it's a naturally occurring toxin found in bitter almonds, bitter apricots, cassava, sorghum, and flaxseed. It's released by chewing. The longer you chew, the more potent and deadly the poison. Small amounts are normally absorbable, but the potential for danger increases the more you ingest.
Can you ask her why prussic acid would have been backstage, does she think?
Will do.
Okay. So Dorian finally kind of, I guess you could say, accepts it, that what Henry is saying is true. And he starts in blaming himself in a way. He says, so I have murdered Sybil Vane. half to himself, of course.
So this, I think, is interesting because he's shocked, he's amazed, but he's not devastated.
No.
And he's kind of marveling at his lack of a reaction. He wonders if he's heartless. Harry doesn't think so.
So Harry essentially tells Dorian that he thinks the marriage would have been a failure anyway, because I don't think that Harry has a lot of faith in women or marriage.
No.
Of course not, the way that he lives his life, but this is how it goes. Dorian takes no responsibility for his death, or for her death, excuse me. And he says that it was his plan to apologize and marry her. But it's her fault that he couldn't. But he doesn't say, well, it's my fault that she killed herself in the first place, necessarily. I murdered her, sure. But she was a bitch about it.
Oh, got a message back from my wife.
Good.
To quote Lizzie the musical, "Death is by paralysis of heart and respiration. I can't speak as to why actual prussic acid would be backstage. Most theaters back then knew how deadly and easily ingestible it is. Perhaps it was being used as a prop in a play. If Sybil were in a murder mystery play, it could be used as an easy, recognizable prop." Nah.
Well, she was in Romeo and Juliet. And
well, fair enough. There is murder at the end.
And how? So Dorian goes in with, I'm going to quote the book a little.
Yeah.
And this got me. It got me. He starts talking to Henry about, I'm glad you don't think I'm heartless. I don't think I'm in the wrong here, all of that. I know I'm not heartless. And yet, I must admit that this thing that has happened does not affect me as it should. It seems to me to be simply like a wonderful ending to a wonderful play.
Uh-huh.
It has all the terrible beauty of a Greek tragedy, a tragedy in which I took a great part, but by which I have not been wounded.
I find it so interesting how disconnected from reality he is right now. Like, he's straight up saying it's like I'm in a story.
It's like I'm in a story. It's like I'm watching a play that I'm affected by, but it doesn't like actually hurt me.
Ooh. So I told Kit that it was Romeo and Juliet, and she said, I know. Like, we really should have just had her on the podcast.
Come on, Kit.
She said, well, they probably would have used it as a prop. The stopper would have been completely waxed shut, but that could be removed with some candlelight.
Oh.
So she probably had some prussic acid readily on hand since they were just doing Romeo and Juliet.
And an artist like Sybil.
Yeah. She also says, prussic acid, when broken down to its liquid form, is a clear blue liquid, easily recognizable and distinguishable on stage.
Well, thanks, Kit. That clears a lot up.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I'm so glad we asked her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kit.
So where were we?
I was falling in love with your wife, but...
Okay, we were in the picture of Dorian Gray. My wife's not there, and she is glad of that. These two just suck, man. They suck.
They suck so bad.
They
these guys.
suck.
Oh my god.
Like the shit that fucking Henry says. He's like, I wish I had ever had such an experience. Someone killed herself for love of you. It would have made me in love with love for the rest of my life if someone had done that for me. The people who have adored me, there have not been very many, but there have been some, have always insisted on living on long after I had ceased to care for them, or they to care for me. They have become stout and tedious, and when I meet them, they go in at once for reminiscences. The awful memory of women. Like, fuck you.
Here's the thing. I love this, and I'll get back to it, but I've pointed out flowers in the past.
Yeah, and there's a lot of flower symbolism that's beyond me, please.
There is. So, in the middle of kind of Henry's tirade, essentially, about this.
Talks about violets.
Well, he talks about violets, but I'm going to talk about specifically what Dorian says in the middle.
That he's going to sow poppies.
I must sow poppies in my garden.
Yeah.
Like, kind of as like I guess I ought to do this.
So I want to mention here, because I was reading the uncensored version and then comparing it to the classic version.
Mm-hmm.
So in the uncensored version, this diatribe that Henry goes on is uninterrupted. Like, he just, goes on about how details are always vulgar, and then he says, of course, now and then things linger. I once wore nothing but violets all through one season. the bit where Dorian cuts in and says, I'm going to sow poppies in my garden, and then he's like, oh, there's no need for that. And then he goes on about violets. That was added. I think probably just to break it up and make it feel a little more natural, most likely.
I like it. I think it's sort of comedic and kind of cute, like Dorian's kind of halfway listening to him. But
So what's this about poppies?
So Dorian says, I must sow poppies in my garden. And poppies are synonymous with sleep, peace, and death. And they, in Greek mythology, would have been used as an offering to the dead. So
he's kind of saying, like, I want to forget about this.
No, I think he's saying I need to put poppies in my garden to show that I care. Like, to force myself to look like I care.
Oh, okay. He's not being like...
I don't think he's trying to be flippant about it, but I think he honestly is. I think that Dorian thinks that it's the right thing to do.
Right.
I don't think he cares that if it's the right thing to do or not. But...
he wants to give the appearance of caring.
Definitely.
Okay.
This is what a person who cares would do.
And so then what's this comment about how Henry was wearing violets all through one season, mourning for a romance that would not die?
So Henry mentions that he wore violet or violets for a time, and violets tend to symbolize modesty, faithfulness, and everlasting love.
Oh, so he was wearing them as like a way to like say like, no, I love you.
I think, yeah, that it might have been something that he was trying to, again, maybe portray his faithfulness or his love for somebody. Did he mean it? I don't know.
So these next few pages, Henry is just going on about his old love lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't get what Dorian sees in this guy. This guy sucks.
This guy sucks big time.
Like,
yeah.
Like, what?
What do you do? Like, you just told me Sybil Vane died.
And now he's
chill.
And now he's going on about like shit that you would talk about at the country club after you've had a few drinks.
For sure. So Henry mentions that the one charm of the past is that it is the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts essentially kind of woman bashing here.
Yes.
That women are superficial, flippant creatures who
feed on emotion or
they're
something.
Charmingly artificial, have no sense of art. But I think he thinks that Sybil Vane might have been a different kind of woman because it had awakened something inside of Dorian than what the women that Henry had associated with had awoken in him. And my favorite line, honestly, in his thing here is that because it like crazy applies to me, which is hilarious, but it says, never trust a woman who wears mauve, whatever her age may be, or a woman over 35 who is fond of pink ribbons.
I that stood out to me, but it felt like nonsense. And you're telling me this is not nonsense?
I think it is. I think it's entire bullshit. It's just that I am over 35 and I like pink ribbons too. Like, back off, Henry. Dang.
Back off, Oscar.
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, Henry is just breaking this down for Dorian that, like, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
women are kind of fucked
he's
up
saying
anyway.
a lot of things that amounts to, this isn't a big deal. Come to the opera with me.
Yeah. You'll be all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Fuck women, get money, let's go.
It's fine.
So Dorian, it's like, has to almost keep reminding Henry. He says, but I was terribly cruel to her. You forget that.
Yeah.
And Henry's like, well, he says, I'm afraid that women appreciate cruelty, downright cruelty, more than anything else.
We have emancipated them, but they remain slaves looking for their masters all the same. They love being dominated.
I mean, sometimes.
Oh my God.
We don't.
And then he says, I'm sure you were splendid. I've never seen you angry. But I can fancy how delightful you looked. Like, what the? He's just like, no, you weren't awful to her. I've never seen you awful. This is classic, right? This is what guys do. Guys can never accept that other guys are capable of being terrible.
Well, women have no problem with that. Guys are terrible. But Harry starts in with kind of another tirade about Sybil, her own self, and about her life as an actress and all of this. So he says, she's never going to come to life. She played her last part. And talks about all of the acts that she would have played, and essentially ends it because he thinks that Dorian don't waste your tears over Sybil Vane. She was less real than they are, meaning the characters she would have played. And I hate that, because now Dorian's hooked
on this idea that, like, oh, this is a good thing that she died.
Dorian's hooked back on Henry's bullshit.
Yeah.
Despite just telling himself that he wasn't going to be. Because Henry told him everything he didn't realize he wanted to hear.
He wants to not have guilt over this.
Yeah. And
Henry has said just the right things for him to accept. Oh, I don't need to be guilty about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dorian admits, like, you have explained me to myself, Harry.
You have said the things that I did not want to admit.
You know me so well. And then Henry, of course, talks about that, yeah, life's gonna open wide up for you. Them doors gonna swing wide. And talks about how it's his extraordinary good looks that is the reason why.
Yeah, and he's like, well, what happens when I get old? And then Henry's like, well, then you're going to have to fight for your victories. Right now, your victories are just kind of thrown at you. You'll have to work a little harder for them later. That's okay. So yeah, so he's like, come to the opera, come to my sister's box. He gives him information about his sister's box and
her box.
And he leaves. Oh, shut up. So Henry leaves, and then he's looking at that painting again.
Mm-hmm.
And what's he thinking about that painting?
He says that the painting itself had received the news of Sybil Vane's death before he had known it himself.
Yeah.
And it was conscious of the events of life as they occurred. Meaning that I think he's starting to kind of put together that maybe the painting is sort of a mirror.
To his soul.
A mirror to his soul.
Yeah.
What Dorian doesn't even realize has happened, the painting knows.
He's got this kind of morbid curiosity about it. Like, he hates it, but he can't help but look at it.
Like a car crash, man.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
You don't want to see anything on the pavement, but I'm going to look back there to see if there's any brains and guts and stuff.
I'll tell you something. I was a first responder long enough that I have the exact opposite intuition. Every single time I see any sort of accident or like just a bunch of fire trucks, bunch of cop cars, and I have no interest. I have zero interest. I'm annoyed that people are gawking. I'm just honking. I'm like, move, get out of the way. Let's go. Stop gawking. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want to see it. The only reason you want to see it is because you haven't seen it before. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the picture of Dorian Gray.
Sensitive man, and I love you, buddy. My goodness. Oof. So he's wondering about the painting, and he wonders, did it merely take cognizance of what passed within the soul? And
what does that mean?
I think what he's wondering is the painting sentient enough to react to what's going on, or is it actually my soul?
I think that the picture is a reflection of what is actually happening to Dorian. Mm-hmm. I think that what everyone is seeing when they look at Dorian is a glamour. I think what everybody is seeing is what the picture should look like. And then the actual changes happening on and within Dorian are being reflected in the picture.
100%.
That's what I think is happening.
Yeah. And then you mentioned having morbid curiosity for this thing, and he says he wondered and hoped that someday he would see the change in the painting taking place before his very eyes, shuddering as he hoped it. Again, it's the driving past a car accident and hoping maybe I'll see something that I probably don't want to see, but it's not until I see it.
You kind of do want to see it.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, don't you?
Yeah.
You kind of want to see some blood and guts.
I've never seen blood and guts before.
Right.
But as somebody that's, I'm guessing, has seen some blood and guts.
It's overrated, man. It's fucked up. It's not worth your time.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Noted. I'm good. I'm set. So he goes back to Sybil again, thinking about her and this wonderful tragic figure, he calls her. Tears come to his eyes, and he remembers her childlike look and winsome, fanciful ways, and her shy, tremulous grace. Which he brushes hastily away and looked at the picture again.
Yeah, because so there's this interesting thing here, where this clearly does affect him. I think he's just in shock, personally. Like, I think that he's kind of marveling at his lack of a reaction, and he's, his friend is telling him all of these things so he can get over it. And he's telling himself that, oh, I felt that emotion, I'm done with that now. Or maybe that happens in the next chapter. But I don't think that, I think that he's lying to himself. I think this does bother him a lot more than he's letting on. I don't think that this, the narrative
I don't
is
think
just...
Sybil Vane's death is bothering him nearly as much as the portrait changing does.
Well, sure, but those things are connected.
Well,
the only reason the picture changed was because of his actions. Like I said before, I guarantee the only reason that he's feeling any of these emotions at all is because the picture changed, right? Yeah. He doesn't like that his picture is now lined with cruelty around the mouth. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, if not for the picture, that would be him. Right. He would now look cruel, which would probably have some kind of effect on his life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides the portrait was to bear the burden of his shame. That was all.
Mm-hmm.
So he's decided now. He's going to go ahead and put this on the painting. He decides, I think I'm going to work with this crazy painting and see what happens here. And he says, was it to alter now with every mood to which he yielded?
He wondered if the cruelty would go away if he found love again.
Yes. For a moment, he thought of praying that the horrible sympathy that existed between him and the picture might cease. But then he wonders, well, is it actually under my control anyway? Which I think is kind of uncharacteristic of him.
Wondering if something is in his control or not?
Yes.
How so?
I think that he is egotistical enough to truly think that just about everything that he wants is in his control.
Sure.
I think he got all of that from Henry.
Well, he's right now being presented with something that's not really in his control at all. So I understand him wondering. Yeah. Because he can't control the changes that happen in that picture.
Or can he?
He can and he can't, right? So they get into this in the next chapter, right? Because he thinks about this again in the next chapter, and he thinks, well, I mean, even if I didn't sin, my age would still be reflected.
Right.
Like, the picture will still age, regardless of if I sin or not.
So if it's going to change in age...
Whatever.
Yeah. So it's really not in his control. It's true. He says, why inquire too closely into it? So at the end of this chapter, I think it is crazy interesting.
He compares himself to Greek gods.
Not the first time, not the last time. This guy. So he talks about, and again, it comes back to the morbid curiosity thing. He says, for there would be a real pleasure in watching it, change?
Yeah.
Would he be able to follow his mind into its secret places? This portrait would be to him the most magical of mirrors. It's not a game, man.
Yeah.
Well, but it is
I
now.
mean, to him it is.
Yeah.
To him it is. It's like, I'm going to get to see this thing change. I'm going to get to see what would happen to me, but I'm going to stay young forever.
It says he would be safe. That was everything. What did it matter happened to the image?
Okay,
I'm going to be safe.
He says that, but at the same time, next chapter, which is how Basil came to console Dorian and how he admitted his feelings for him.
Yeah. Chapter 9 is something else to me. I loved reading chapter 9. I loved it. It's not my favorite chapter so far, but
I enjoyed this chapter because Basil is, in a lot of ways, the average person in this scenario.
You find yourself identifying with Basil a lot.
Because he's the one that comes in here to console his friend, and his friend doesn't need consoling. He finds out that, like, he's told the night before that Dorian went to the opera. He didn't believe that for a moment. Who the fuck would go to the opera after their fiancé died? Mm-hmm. Who the fuck would do that? Yeah. And so he's like, oh, I didn't believe that. Where were you? What happened? Are you okay? And Dorian's like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. I did go to the opera. You should have come too. And Basil's like, what the fuck do you mean you went to the fucking opera? What's wrong with you?
What I love about this is that Dorian kind of gets pissed at him. And Dorian's got a little bit of a point. I think he's a little bitch about it, but
he says something about, like, oh, how you've come to console me, and now that I don't need consoling, you're annoyed?
You found me consoled, and now you're upset? Easy does it, buddy.
Oh, sympathy goes so far.
Oh my god.
I do see what he's saying there.
Yeah.
However, it's been a day. You still need consoling.
Day. Yes. So, the thing is that, yeah, Basil just cannot believe this.
I mean, if I were in Basil's position, I would also be shocked.
For sure. So Dorian says, well, what is past is past. He's ready to move on. But immediately, Basil says, you call yesterday the past?
I mean, technically. But again, I'm with Basil here.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? This happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, on a biological level, the shock of losing someone you love will still be affecting your body the next day.
Yeah.
Like, it just will.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Basil asks him, did you go and see her mother? How is her family doing?
He didn't do any of that.
And Dorian's essentially like, fuck if I know, guy.
Like, they don't know me. They don't know me. Sybil knew my Christian name, but she referred to me as Prince Charming to everyone. Mm-hmm. None of them ever met me.
They don't know me.
And so then Basil's like asking about the inquest, and he makes a face. He's like, inquest? I'm not going to an inquest. They don't know me.
Yeah. Basil says that something has changed Dorian. Obviously.
He blames Henry.
He does blame Henry. But then Dorian says, well, fuck you, dude. You're the one that made me vain.
Yeah.
Which is such a teenager thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, he's like 20, 21. He hasn't come of age quite yet.
I don't believe so, not yet.
No, he's close to coming of age, but he hasn't come of age quite yet. So, like, He's 20. He's still got that teenager mentality for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. So Basil says that, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, fuck me for that. I shouldn't have made you vain. And I'll be punished for that.
But
my dude, are you actually okay? So Dorian says that Sybil's death was essentially a martyrdom. I think a martyrdom to art. She was always a heroine.
And now she always will be.
Yeah. It says the last night she played, the night you saw her, she acted badly because she had known the reality of love. When she knew its unreality, she died, as Juliet might have died. She passed again into the sphere of art. There is something of the martyr about her.
The thing I find interesting is how Dorian says he doesn't care about Sybil's death anymore. He's not going to speak of it. But this feels dishonest, right? Because if he didn't care about about it, why would he care one way or the other about discussing it? Why would he mind discussing it?
True.
Again, like, he makes a distasteful face when Basil is asking him about, like, the next natural steps when a person dies in this scenario. There's an inquest happening, looking into this stuff, and he's just like, inquest. Ugh.
Gross. No time for that.
That's nothing to do with me.
I gotta get to the opera.
I went to the opera.
Mm-hmm.
So
he says, I can't repeat an emotion. No one can, except sentimentalists.
See, this is something else that I think is interesting, right? Like, he's this guy that wants to experience and feel everything one time.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to feel it again, especially if it's distasteful.
I can't feel it again. What do you want me to go relive the past? Again, that was yesterday, man. You were head over heels for her physically a day ago.
What the fuck?
What happened?
She gave a bad performance is what happened. And then he just, like, on his whims, he was like, I don't care about you anymore. Bad actress. Bad play. I'm done. I don't love you anymore. Dickhead.
Big dickhead, for sure. So he says to Basil, if you really want to console me, teach me to forget what has happened. And that kind of hurts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just because I think that trying to forget something that you're feeling your way through is like burning the map that you're making while you're making it. Does that make sense?
Burning the map that you're making while you're making it. I mean, that would make you lost.
Exactly. And I don't think he realizes how lost he is or will be here pretty quick. He is so ready to just move on to what? He doesn't know or care.
No. The thing is, Henry and Basil are the worst people for him to be talking to right now about this. Basil, because he's just completely ill-equipped to understand what Dorian's going through. Henry, because he just doesn't care.
Yeah. I think that Basil could be a great person to talk to about this because he seems to actually really care about Dorian and kind of understand actually how to handle grief.
Sure.
Because I think that Basil already grieved Dorian.
A little bit. When he realized how their friendship was changing.
Yeah.
And then, again, in this chapter, their friendship changes further because he
has spent all night, ever since Basil found out about Sybil, his thought would immediately to, oh my gosh, I bet Dorian is devastated.
I must console my friend.
He has been feeling for his friend.
He didn't go to console him the night before. Like, he didn't try, like, when he didn't find him at home, he didn't try looking for him further because he wasn't sure how much use he could be to Dorian in that specific moment when he just found out.
Right.
But he still wanted to see him and console him, and Dorian is being fucking Dorian. And so
what Dorian starts telling Basil is that he brings up Gautier, who he said used to write about La Consolation des Arts, which is the consolation of arts, which means turning to art to console oneself, obviously. He says, I love things that one can touch and handle. And then he kind of starts listing things that he really, really just likes to be surrounded by. And it's beautiful, tactile, luxurious things, he said. Old brocades, lacquerwork, carved ivories, luxury, pomp. There's so much to be got from these.
This went over my head.
I think it's definitely speaking to the aestheticism that Oscar Wilde got super jacked about.
I think that's part of what I'm struggling with when I'm reading this book, when it gets into this, like, aesthetic stuff. That's so not me. And so, like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, I have, like, a certain fashion style that I like, but beyond that, like, I mean, you've seen the car I drive.
You leave her alone. She's a workhorse.
Hey, I love my car. Don't get me wrong. Aesthetic, it is not.
It's an aesthetic. We'll say that. But he says, and I wonder if this maybe helps to maybe understand better, but it says, to become the spectator of one's own life, as Harry says, fucking Harry, is to escape the suffering of life. So I think that's what's happening. I think that the aestheticism that Dorian thinks he wants to embrace is escapism for him.
Yeah, I can see that.
I want to immerse myself in beautiful things because this way I am a spectator in my own life. Nothing hits me. It's the same as when he talked about being a spectator in this play that just unfolded in front of him.
Why would you want to be a spectator in your own life?
You don't have to feel things this way.
But then you have no control over it. You're just
control.
like going through life and then like things just kind of happen. And it's like, oh, that was interesting. It's like, oh, what do I feel about that? Oh, nothing. I'm spectating. Like, that's what that sounds like to me.
I think it's a really, really... It's an inappropriate way to go about life in a way. And I don't mean to criticize the aesthetic like movement that Oscar Wilde was a part of. I think that there is meaning behind it. And
this is aestheticism to an unhealthy degree.
It's aestheticism to a hedonistic degree.
Which is what Dorian wants to be. He wants to be a hedonist, full on. Like, Henry got him onto that, and he's like, ooh, I like the sound of that.
100%.
Experience everything. Feel everything. Do everything, regardless of if it's right or wrong. Set morals aside.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
That's Dorian.
So, Dorian still wants Basil to love him, but Basil has to understand that he's different now. He says, I was a schoolboy when you knew me. I am a man now.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dorian knows what it means to be a man.
No.
But Basil thinks to himself that maybe Dorian will come around to his grief eventually. Maybe he'll come back to it. But he says that he'll stand by him. He'll support him and try to be the kind of friend that he thinks he'll need. And then Basil starts kind of walking around and, he's just like, well, maybe you'll come and sit for me again?
Yeah. And he's like, I will never sit for you again.
I can't ever be that for you anymore.
I will not do that anymore. I'll have tea with you. That'll be nice. And he's like, nice for you.
That'll be fine. And then Basil says, you know what? Speaking of my work, can I see the picture?
I want to see the picture again. And he's like, no.
Dorian freaks
the fuck out.
The fuck out. This was in my notes even. Freaks all the way out.
He's shaking with rage. He's like, no, you will not look at it. If you look at it again, I will never speak to you again.
He says it says the lad was actually pallid with rage. His hands were clenched and the pupils of his eyes were like discs of blue fire. He was trembling all over.
And so Basil respects his wishes. He's like, all right, fine. I don't have to look at it.
Well, he says, I want to exhibit it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to exhibit it now.
Yeah, he's like, I want to show it off in Paris for a month. You won't even have to look at it. And I'll see it then, so I don't see what the problem is. And Dorian's like, exhibit it? But you said you didn't. And this is because he remembers what Henry told him. Like, Henry told him something about what Basil said in chapter 2. And so
Basil said, if you want to have a strange quarter of an hour, get Basil to tell you why he won't exhibit your picture.
Right. And so he does that now.
I think he does that to try to buy himself time.
He absolutely does.
And to try to maybe have something, maybe a blackmail piece.
The narrative explicitly says that. Like, near the end, he's like, oh, this is wonderful. He wanted to get a secret from me, but I got a secret from him instead.
Joke's on you, dude.
And so in this moment, he's like, hey, tell me a secret about you, and I'll tell you a secret about me. Liar. He did not share a secret.
He says, what is your reason for refusing to exhibit my picture?
And so then, yeah, he kind of rehashes what he said in chapter 2 a lot, except a bit more fully. So, and this is where things get interesting, because you're reading the classic version. I'm reading the uncensored version. It's not too different, but the uncensored version does much more explicitly state his feelings for Dorian.
I want to know more about that, because I guess for some reason, personal hangups or what. Now, I'm a queer woman.
Sure.
And I realize that over time, Oscar Wilde has become somewhat of a gay icon.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. He is that bitch. But there is something about the picture of Dorian Gray that I didn't really want to wholeheartedly believe was pretty gay.
Mm-hmm.
I stand by this. I do think that it transcends sexuality and sexual preference and goes into like the soul finding a soul realm. But I'm interested to hear what yours
I'll read to
says.
you what it says here, and you can like compare the differences.
Okay.
And when you notice the differences, please interrupt and tell me.
Yep.
So he says, "Let us sit down, Dorian. Let us sit down. I will sit in the shadow, and you shall sit in the sunlight. Our lives are like that. Just answer me one question. Have you noticed in the pictures something that you did not like? Something that probably at first did not strike you, but that revealed itself to you suddenly?"
The part about the sunshine and the darkness is not in mine.
Noted.
And I love that.
"Basil!" cried the lad, clutching the arms of his chair with trembling hands and gazing at him with wild, startled eyes. "I see you did. Don't speak. Wait till you hear what I have to say. It is quite true that I have worshipped you with far more romance of feeling than a man should ever give to a friend. Somehow, I had never loved a woman. I suppose I never had time. Perhaps, as Harry says, a really grand passion is the privilege of those who have nothing to do, and that is the use of the idle classes in a country. Well, from the moment I met you, your personality had the most extraordinary influence over me."
So at that point, that's where it comes back to the text that I see.
Mm-hmm.
So I was missing the context of what you just said.
Yeah.
I loved you with more romance than a
That,
man should have.
I
for his
imagine,
buddy.
was cut, for sure.
Yeah. I wish it hadn't been.
"I quite admit that I adored you madly, extravagantly, absurdly. I was jealous of every one to whom you spoke. I wanted to have you all to myself. I was only happy when I was with you. When I was away from you, you were still present in my art. It was all wrong and foolish. It is all wrong and foolish still. Of course, I never let you know anything about this. It would have been impossible. You would not have understood it. I did not understand it myself. One day, I determined to paint a wonderful portrait of you. It was to have been my masterpiece. It is my masterpiece, but as I worked at it, every flake and film of color seemed to me to reveal my secret. There was love in every line, and in every touch there was passion. I grew afraid that the world would know of my idolatry. I felt, Dorian, that I had told too much, that I resolved never to allow the picture to be exhibited. You were a little annoyed, but then you did not realize all that it meant to me. Harry, to whom I talked about it, laughed at me, but I did not mind that. When the picture was finished and I sat alone with it, I felt that I was right. Well, after a few days, the portrait left my studio, and as soon as I had got rid of the intolerable fascination of its presence, it seemed to me that I had been foolish in imagining that I had said anything in it, more than that you were extremely good-looking and that I could paint. Even now, I cannot help feeling that it is a mistake to think that the passion one feels in creation is ever really shown in the work one creates."
That is iconic, that line.
"I cannot help feeling that it is a mistake to think that the passion one feels in creation is ever really shown in the work one creates."
Yes, because think about poor Sybil.
Mm-hmm.
The art that she created was hollow to her, but not to Dorian.
Mm-hmm. "Art is more abstract than we fancy. Form and color tell us of form and color, that is all. It often seems to me that art conceals the artist far more completely than it ever reveals him. And so when I got this offer from Paris, I determined to make your portrait the principal thing in my exhibition. It never occurred to me that you would refuse. I see now that you were right. The picture must not be shown. You must not be angry with me, Dorian, for what I have told you. As I said to Harry once, you are made to be worshipped." So I think there was some additional stuff in the classic version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it tells essentially the same story.
Yeah.
You know, just a lot less explicitly romantic.
And there's a few tweaks here and there in the classic version to underplay the homoerotic themes.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, on the next page, when Basil's like, "You don't know what it cost me to tell you all that I have told you," in my version, Dorian says, "My dear Basil, what have you told me? Simply that you felt that you liked me too much. That is not even a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it doesn't say the same thing in your version.
It actually says something similar in my version.
It's similar, but it's not the same.
Yeah. What have you told me? Simply that you have admired me too much? That's not even a compliment."
Yeah.
And Basil says, "It wasn't intended as a compliment. It was a confession."
Mm-hmm. It's like a very disappointing one. And so here, like, Basil's like, all right, I'm not gonna... I suppose that we're not gonna...
It was a disappointing confession, he tells him.
Yeah.
And how that must have broken Basil's heart.
Yeah, because it's like he's confessing his love for the guy, and the guy's like, whatever. I mean, what, you like me? Okay, so?
Why? What did you expect? You didn't see anything else in the picture, did you? Right? He goes right back to it.
And he lies. He's like, no, I didn't see anything else in the picture.
Yeah.
And so Basil's like...
You and I are friends, Basil, and we must always remain so.
And he's like, you've got Harry. And this is where I think he is an interesting confession on Dorian's part. Maybe confession is not the right word, but it's
it's a realization.
It seems true. He wouldn't go to Harry if he was in trouble. He would go to Basil, and that makes sense. I wouldn't go to Harry either. Fuck Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Harry's amusing.
God.
Harry's amusing. Harry is someone that, like, I mean, I'm gonna be interested in what he has to say, but if I needed help, I wouldn't go to fucking Harry.
Right.
Like, he's not that kind of friend. He's not someone you can rely on.
No.
He's just someone that you can hang out with and have a good time.
So Dorian kind of he says something to Basil, which I think he's like trying to tell Basil about what he thinks about the painting without telling him.
Right.
So he says, "I can't explain it to you, Basil, but I must never sit to you again. There's something fatal about a portrait. It has a life of its own." And he says, I'll come and have tea with you. That'll be just as pleasant. And Basil says,
maybe for you.
Pleasanter for you, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So he leaves him.
Yeah. And like, it's so sad because it's again representing that narrative that was in one of the earlier chapters. Like when Basil and first introduced Harry to Dorian, he realized that their friendship had forever changed at that point.
He said, don't change him.
This is that again, right? This is like a drastic change to their friendship, arguably an end to their friendship, because he's not going to sit. Dorian's not going to sit for him again. He's not going to show him his painting. He's not going to let him show the painting off. Mm-hmm. And his behavior today. I mean, if I had a friend that expressed how little they gave a shit that their fiance had died, that would drastically affect my friendship with that person.
Absolutely.
Like, I would think that they were unwell, and they would not be someone that I would want around my social circles.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you tell them how much you were in love with them, and they tell you, not feeling it. You want to go get some tea?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't want tea with you.
What do you mean?
Nor crumpets, my good
You're
bean.
Stepping all over my feelings here. I don't want to have tea with you.
Yeah, dude. And your fancy Louis Couture's shoes. Get real.
Yeah. And it's so the chapter ends with him realizing that this portrait's got to be hidden. He can't just have it out in the open where someone can easily see it, like, in